As in beyond life?
Yeah, I think so.
Right. No. Listen, I have a gig tonight. I can't die now.
Joe, you're dead. Your gig, it's just...
Yes, I do. I'm not dying the very day I got my shot.
Wow.
I'm due. Heck, I'm overdue.
There's a lot of resistance to death here.
I think you're supposed to go that way.
He is not.
I'm not dying today. Not when my life just started.
Well, you gotta love the motivation here, I guess. You gotta love the confidence that he has. So you know what?
What was that?
I think it's important for us to talk about his
finished.
resistance to death. You see, his resistance to death is something that we call self or ego continuity, and it refers to the mind's need to preserve a coherent sense of me, even when life or belief systems change. And it's relevant for people who went through religious or faith type of trauma, because many organized religions build your entire identity around a single, rigid definition of what it means to be good, faithful, worthy, and other very powerful words like these. And while this structure can definitely bring comfort and belonging, at the same time it can also limit self-exploration for many. Over time, as you grow, life naturally demands change. You evolve, you start questioning things, you discover messy or shadowy parts of yourself that don't kind of fit the original mold. But because that old system told you that any sort of deviation is going to equal sin or betrayal, your self-continuity system kicks in like a defense mechanism, which is what is happening to Joe here. It says, no. What matters if you are dead? Stay consistent with who you were taught to be. My man, you're dead. That version of you no longer fits you. Like, that's how easy it is, huh? For example, imagine you grew up Catholic and you were taught that being good means being overly kind and endlessly kind, self-sacrificing, forgiving. Now, that belief becomes part of your core identity, your moral compass, and your belonging system. However, at some point you might find yourself in situations where that kindness, that being good, turns into self-abandonment. In order to grow, you're gonna have to let your shadow act. At least for a while, you'll need to set boundaries, to say no, to let anger exist. Yet doing that often triggers guilt and shame because your brain equates change with moral failure. Because if you're not good anymore, that means you're automatically bad. That's what makes it very rigid. Now, that's self-continuity acting as a protective mechanism. However, it's also important to say that that same mechanism can also become a source of strength, especially if integrated consciously. When you allow your identity to evolve, to expand, to basically hold both I can be kind and I can be assertive, just as an example, self-continuity helps you preserve your core values, yes, even as the form of those values changes. In that sense, self-continuity is both your ego's resistance and your ego's resilience. It's what helps you remain you while you expand into new, more authentic versions of yourself. The versions that rigid systems often do not allow.
I gotta get back. I don't want to die.
I mean,
I'm not done. Run! Why aren't you running?
I don't know.
because people are not resisting death as much as you do, Joe. I don't know what's your plan here. Yeah, where are your pants and what is your plan, Joe? Joe, baby, just go towards the light. Have a peaceful death.
Sorry, excuse me. Help!
What's your plan here?
Back!
Oh my God, I don't know if you can just break the laws of the universe in this way, or oh, never mind, I stand corrected. Wow, he literally broke the barrier. Well, let us pause because we definitely need to talk about this one, don't we? So, you see, the reason why he's able to break this barrier cannot really be explained in an objective way whatsoever. This is where we have to talk about belief, and my personal one is that the universe we live in agrees with whatever we deeply believe. That would explain also why we have the reticular activating system, which is literally a neural filter in the brainstem that prioritizes information relevant to your goals and beliefs. It also falls in line with placebo, with self-fulfilling theory, with co-creation from a spiritual perspective too. So somehow he made it. He broke the barrier of the universe. I don't know what is going to happen to this man, but something tells me that probably he shouldn't have done that. Or, well, there's no right and wrong from a universe perspective, so this probably is just going to create more curiosity. Wow, look at that. These are all of the layers of reality, I guess, in the way that we have different dimensions, 2D, 3D. Monday. This is pretty peaceful. I love the colors. Why does it kind of feel like home? You know what I mean? Like, is it just me?
Now, everyone, let's give the mentor some room. Sorry, new souls.
The mentor?
37, that's enough. Hey, everyone.
They don't even have names. Oh, wow, I should use this.
I am the coming together of all quantized fields of the universe.
What?
In a form your feeble human brain can comprehend.
What?
You can call me Jerry.
Jerry.
Let us stop here. Jerry acts as a gentle reminder of how limited our perspective as humans is. And I don't mean just spiritually, I also mean biologically, okay? We experience reality through very narrow perceptual channels. In the end, just imagine that our eyes only capture a fraction of the electromagnetic spectrum. Our ears are only a teeny tiny range of vibrations, not to mention about the fact that our brains filter billions of sensory inputs every second to protect us from overload. That being said, we don't see reality. We interpret it. So when Jerry says they are the one coming together of all quantized fields, it's almost like a cosmic joke about how much we don't know. We cannot perceive the whole, only the slice that our nervous system can process. And then our mind will translate that sliver into stories anyway, so you know. And at the end of the day, that's what human consciousness does, everyone. It simplifies complexity into symbols, myths, legends, into frameworks so that we can interact with it. Which is also the reason why I think Jerry is personified. It's a way for our brain to maintain some structure so it doesn't collapse. But why is it relevant to you? Well, because there's a catch, or rather a hidden danger. The problem isn't in the fact that we simplify things. The danger intervenes when we forget that we simplified things. And it translates in things like when we turn a mystery into a certainty, like many religions try to do, when we treat a metaphor like a fact. That's when we stop evolving. Heaven and hell, just to give an example, might not be literal descriptions of an afterlife, but rather psychological landscapes. Attempts to map moral polarity in a way our limited cognition can handle. So I think that Jerry's presence is kind of like a quiet reminder of humility and how humility is part of wisdom. You know what the universe is. The moment you think you know what the universe is, the moment you think you know for sure if there's free will or not, that's when you've only drawn a picture of your own mind. It's not necessarily true. No one can actually tell you if that's true or not. That's why they shouldn't be treated as truths, you see. And in the end of the day, that's kind of the paradox of having faith without dogma. It's believing in something while staying completely open to being wrong tomorrow. This is basically learning to live in dialogue with mystery forever.
Hey, is this heaven?
No.
Not really.
Is it H-E double hockey sticks?
You mean hell? Yeah, I mean, I think everyone can spell here. These are not even children. These are souls, I guess.
This isn't the great beyond.
What is it?
Great before.
The great before?
This is so interesting. It kind of falls in line with my personal beliefs. So this is interesting to see.
Welcome to the youth seminar.
Hi.
You are in for a treat.
Am I? Do tell. Do tell more. Well, let us talk actually about the great before, because I think that there's some things that should be said. So if you think about it, this place, the great before, the U seminar, however you want to call it, might be the biggest case for free will ever shown in a film. At least a cartoon, right? Because what we see here is preparation, which goes directly against one of the strongest arguments against the existence of free will, determinism. The idea that everything that we do is just a result of what came before. Right? Our genes, our trauma, our chemistry, biology, parents, the weather, the positioning of the stars when you were born, you name it. It's all beyond your control. That's what determinism says. But that theory assumes that life begins at birth. It never accounts for what came before, if there even was a before. That's why I love this movie so much, by the way, because it plays with that gap beautifully. It kind of quietly asks you, well, what if you chose this? What if you not only chose this, but what if you actually prepared for this? What if you knew exactly what you were getting into and you still decided to do it? Those are kind of the questions that are floating in this great before. In that sense, I invite everyone seeing this right now to listen to Alan Watts' famous quote, that video that starts with, let me just search it up, because I remember the concept of it, but I don't remember at all the way that it sounded. Oh yes, so it starts with, let's suppose that you were able every night to dream any dream that you wanted to dream. Now, I won't say it all in here because it's too long, obviously, but I really recommend recommend you guys listening to it, even if you already listened to it before. It could be that you're going to relate to it from a different perspective today. You never know. And here's the thing, right? It's not like the choice of coming here, if it's even a choice, was made as a human who has a nervous system and understands the difference between pain and pleasure, for instance. But this decision was rather made as a consciousness choosing an experience. And like any experience, the most important thing is the curiosity and growth in it. So, if you were a fragment of consciousness and you were about to incarnate and live an epic story, would you want to avoid all of the pain and all of the heartbreak and all of the moments of confusion? Would you ever read a book that has no downs, only ups? I mean, if you ever played The Sims, you already know the answer. Because hear me out, that's literally the universe, okay? Creating Sims, making them have all sorts of experiences. Some die because the ladder out of the pool disappeared mysteriously. Others are locked in basements with no way out, while others just live a great life being famous and accomplished. Welcome to life. You're probably controlling your own sim and forgot that you're one. I don't know, just saying. Now, if you're like me, you're probably sitting there and wondering, well, okay, but why should I believe this over something else? What difference does it make? It's not like you can prove it. That would be a very good question. So here's something very important to know if you guys want to also develop and change. Beliefs shape your reality, which is also kind of confirmed by neuroscience. In fact, that's why your brain has built-in confirmation systems that search for evidence of what you already believe to be true. That's why your belief about whether you're helpless or not in the face of life matters a lot. If you believe that already everything has been decided for you, that you are powerless, your behavior will unconsciously align with that story. You'll act with less agency. You'll take fewer risks. You'll self-sabotage to stay consistent with your own narrative, right? Obviously, this is all subconscious, so it's not like you're aware. If you, on the other hand, still have the same belief that everything is decided, but add to that the faith that there's a bigger plan, that something loves you through it, you suddenly unlock a different kind of resilience. This is how in time you can actually adopt something called adaptive explanatory style, which is basically our ability to interpret difficulty as purposeful. Now, if you strip all of that away, no God, no plan, what you're left with is a vacuum where uncertainty equals chaos instead of mystery. And that's excruciatingly hard because the human nervous system isn't built for sustained meaninglessness. It literally collapses without orientation. That's why studies show that people that are religious or spiritual often report higher levels of fulfillment and emotional well-being. It's not like they have discovered something that the rest haven't, but their belief system gives them a psychological framework that turns uncertainty into faith, pain into growth. Now, if you don't have that framework, if your worldview doesn't include something to believe in, it's going to be very fucking hard to be at peace, fulfilled, or happy. So if you want to start believing in something else outside of God, we can start, as we said, with singularity, and this is where I start with my clients. Let's start by embracing the fact that you don't know why you're here. You will never know why you're here. You don't know what you're supposed to do. You don't even know if you're supposed to do something. All you know is that you are alive. Now, the chances of you specifically being alive, yeah, I'm talking to you, is 1 in 400 trillion. Are we clocking that? 1 in 400 trillion is literally the scientific estimation for the odds of your particular genetic and circumstantial existence. But sure, let's say that the probability of your parents meeting, of them having you at that exact moment, of your DNA forming exactly as it did, of you surviving everything in your life you've been through until this very moment is all purely coincidental. Let's entertain that, sure. Now let's ask science. Is evolution coincidental? Not quite. Evolution requires unnatural selection, which is a process, not pure randomness. So even in science, we can recognize that there is a pattern of self-organization running through everything. Life continuously rearranges towards, higher complexity, resilience, and awareness, which is what brings us to you, you beautiful bastard. Sorry, I don't want to offend anyone. It was just a joke, okay? Apologies, forgive me. Now, self-organization is a pretty big deal. It kind of indicates that this life, the universe, is an indication of something intelligent organizing itself. Now, of course, this is not proof necessarily that the universe is intelligent, rather is an example of emergent intelligence, meaning it behaves intelligently. So let's start from the fact that you don't have to believe in a god or an external bigger force, but you can believe in the fact that when you present the universe with the right elements, the right thoughts, the right actions, intentions, the system responds intelligently. Every complex system, starting from ecosystems to human consciousness, they all operate on feedback loops. So if you consistently feed the universe and automatically your nervous system, because it's part of it, the belief that you are powerless, your perception will narrow to confirm that. This is literally what psychology calls confirmation bias and what neuroscience calls predictive processing. It's your brain literally filtering reality to match your internal model of it. And so in time, you stop noticing possibilities that contradict your belief because they fall outside your prediction model. It's that easy. I mean, it's simple, but not easy. Now, if you feed that system a belief in possibility, even a humble one, like I don't know if there's free will, but I trust that life self-organizes to give me the most intelligent option, that's when you open that feedback loop. You see, you start a conversation. The brain begins to scan for coherence in that belief in the environment around you, and then reality responds in kind. And it's not because the universe bends to your will, it doesn't, but it happens because you and the universe are parts of the same self-organizing system. You are not separated, baby. So if you need something to believe in that. Oh, someone is keeping count, all right. I mean, it has to.
It's weird.
What is it?
It counts off.
Excuse me?
Okay, you found one soul.
Missing. The counts off.
It's not the same as the Jerry, that one thing that was keeping count. What the fuck?
You'll be aloof. And you too.
Why not? I love how the universe is almost like, listen, there are no stakes. You know, like, chill.
Of course.
Sure.
You think people are just born with them?
Come on now. Why would you ever believe that? And indeed, you know what? Why would you ever believe that? Because if there's one universal law, one law of the universe that I have learned about when I was, in 3rd grade in biology, is that nothing dies. Everything transforms, meaning that you as an energy don't have a beginning and an end. You have just different phases. You go through different stages of your energy. So death kind of becomes just a metamorphosis. You become a butterfly from the little caterpillar.
So, how did they get to Earth then?
Well, they use the Earth portal.
Correct. Of course they do. What kind of question is that?
Hello?
I don't think he gives a shit. He found out how to go back to Earth, so he's going to go for that, of course. Very simplistic as a little soul. Okay, dude, go back, I guess. I don't know what to tell you. At this point, this feels so useless. Why die at all if it's so easy to go back? Why is it that he's the only one that was able to escape? Or maybe I'm just assuming that. You see my mind making stories. Oh my god, he cannot go back. Well, Joe, you know, Einstein said that doing the same thing, expecting a different result is a sign of madness, insanity. So Joe, are you all right? No, he is not.
Jerry, we've got a problem.
Yeah, you do.
There, Terry.
The counts off.
Okay.
I seriously doubt.
I love how it just hasn't been jellies when it laughs.
51,000 souls going to the great beyond
Whoa.
every day. It's 105.2
Terry.
souls.
Baby, do you need a vacation?
5 souls per
I think you need a vacation.
And I count every single one of them.
I believe you. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Terry because I don't think we have talked about him. So as you see, Terry and Jerry are made of the same thing, but they're not the same. So if